This is Sports Night. Enjoy sport on Multi TV. My name is Kwame Jumo Ajiman. This evening we're going to be looking at beach soccer or beach football. This is a sport that has been growing in quite a number of countries, especially in South America, where it is so big. The Brazilians have dominated the sport. If you come to Africa, the Nigerians and the Senegalese are also dominating in here. Ghana stands a very big chance of making it to a World Cup, but before they do that, they would have to clear a hurdle that's going to be an African competitor that she's been drawn with, and if Ghana goes past that competitor, we're going to be making our way to the World Cup. But there's a bigger challenge which has to do with funding. Where are they going to be raising the funds to be competing in a tournament of this magnitude? Well, this evening we're going to be having Night9th May, who happens to be the skipper of Layoka Beach Soccer Club, and he's also the acting public relations officer of the Ghana Beach Soccer Association. He's going to be running us through how the sport in itself has started in here, how the sport has developed over the years, and how Ghana as a country has been able to raise a team that is they consider good enough to compete at the African level and even at the world level. We'll be back after this break. We are back from the break, and like I told you earlier on, we do have Night9th May, who happens to be the skipper of the Layoka Beach Soccer Club and is also the acting PRO of the Ghana Beach Soccer Association in our studio this evening. Thank you so much for making time to come to our studio. How big is beach soccer in Ghana?
Actually, beach soccer is quite big in Ghana because, not only in Ghana, but then I would say the whole of Africa, because it is only in Ghana that we have two leagues going on at the same time, and it's never heard of in any of the African countries. Nigeria is playing what we call the Copa Lagos, which is a tournament that they play just for 2-3 days. But this is actually a league that is going on. We completed last season with Cater Sunset winning, and then we started this season, and then they were on top up to a certain level when Haveji and then Ada Assurance came to take over the post. So beach soccer is the fastest growing sport in Ghana now.
When you mention beach soccer, for any person listening to you, the whole idea of playing football around the beach comes to mind. There are so many beaches in Ghana, I believe. Where exactly do you play these league matches?
We play our league matches in La Pleasure Beach, not at where the resort is, but then after the lagoon that is there, that is where we play. And then it is a standard pitch because FIFA has come to test the pitch, and then you need, I think, about 40 inches sand so that you can play in it, and the cleanliness and the size of the pitch. And then that is an appropriate place for us to play. That is why we are playing there.
You mentioned the fact that you have a two-league system. I'm not too sure what that means, and if you're running a two-league system, I'm sure then you have so many clubs involved in it.
Exactly. In the beginning, when we were going to start a league, we had about 20 clubs who have come to...
20 clubs?
20 clubs, yes, who have come to register. And then we can't play a 20-club league. So we decided, okay, fine. We play a knockout system, which we did that in Adan a couple of months last year. And then we have the first two teams that will qualify from their groups, which we play for what we call the Premiership or the Super League. And then we have the rest, which will go for Division 1. And this is unprecedented in the history of beach soccer anywhere in the world, that they are playing a two-league system in Ghana. So we have Calbang, who came on board to help us with the 40,000 Ghana cedis to help the Premiership.
Which for me might be woefully inadequate.
Inadequate, way inadequate, because in a week, or let's say in a day, when we are playing league matches, we spend more than 3,000 Ghana cedis in terms of preparation and logistics and other things that we give to the players. So it's inadequate. The association tries to raise funds from other places to add it to it so that, you know, the league will go on. Because under the FIFA rules and the speculation, you need to play a league, you need to play a certain tournament to be able to qualify and join the CAF status of playing in the world.
For these clubs who compete in the Superliga and the Division 1, I just want you to give me the difference between the Division 1 and the Superliga, and then we'll continue from there.
Exactly. The Superliga has sponsorship from Calbank, and then they are more matured in terms of the way they play. Not to say that in Division 1 is more or less. Division 1 teams are most of the teams that are now learning the game.
Okay.
Yes, that is why they are there in Division 1. Those who qualified for Premiership are people who have played in some tournaments before. That's why they were able to outwit. This is a game that you need to play with the rules. You need to be focused. You need to have stamina. That is welcome. You'll be able to play. So the clubs that are in Premiership are more of, let me say, mature teams than the ones that are...
Players and teams who have the experience. I believe. Great. Now that you've been able to give us a clarification between the two, what about the level of competition? Because, I mean, the biggest question, obviously, that you would have faced over these years would have to be how the teams are able to mobilize, the set of players that, they use on match days. I think it's about 4 or 5 players
who can play at a time.
At a time, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This game is actually not a 90 minutes game. It is a 36 minutes game.
36?
Yes, which is 3 halves. So every half is 12 minutes that we play. But then every half is even more than playing 120 minutes football because of the sand. And this is a less contact game.
How different does it, feel like playing on the sand at the beach and playing football on normal sand?
It is totally different because then playing on this beach sand has to do is that when you step your feet on the sand, your feet goes inside the sand.
And you don't wear football boots.
You don't wear football boots. You don't even wear socks. It's only anklets. Under the rules, you need to wear anklets. You can't even wear the bands I'm wearing to play. Not even a necklace. Okay. Not even a ring. You have to remove everything because it's a less contact game and it's an incident-free game. But the point is that running in the sun is difficult. And dribbling in the sun is another thing altogether. So the rule says that you should be able to shoot accurately, not to dribble a lot in the sun, or else you won't last for 2 minutes and you'll go off the pitch, tired. So if you've watched the last World Cup, the Russians were very good because in every 3 to 4 minutes, they change a whole set of players. They have a very good goalkeeper who can shoot at goal, and it's allowed to shoot at goal, So the rules are totally different from football. And playing in the sun is quite difficult than playing on normal
12
sun.
minutes for every session,
yes.
You said. How many times can you make a substitution, for example? Because the last time I tried it, I almost found myself somewhere I don't want to tell my viewers.
But then it's like playing basketball. You come in as and when you go and sit down. So there's no time in saying that as in regulation football where the referee have to give a signal before somebody change. In beach soccer, it is not like that. You just raise the number of the player, and the player sees it, it runs to it, and then collect it.
And the game is still ongoing?
The game is still ongoing. So you don't stop the game before playing.
Is there not a certain level of unfairness in that? Because as and when you would have a player going off the pitch, the opposing team would have a man advantage.
So that is why every team has to know the rules and regulations about the game. The do's and don'ts of the game. What do you have to do? In substitution, this is how it goes. So when you are substituting, you, the coach, have to be very clever in such a way that you won't put your substitution in time when you are being counted. You have to do your substitution when you are countering. You get it? Or when the ball is out of play. Then you can do that.
Okay.
Yes. So if you do it when they are countering you, then you have a problem. Because it's only 4 players. And if you are less 3, then you are in trouble. Because the pressure will be on you, the shots will be fired all angles, and then you go down with
Have our people learned very fast over the years? I come there as and when, and from what I have seen, I'm not too sure if I can say our people are the level of the Brazilians and the Russians, but what would you make of the rate of development?
The rate of development is faster than I even think it will be. Because the guys are learning faster. We pinch it into their ears before the start of the first ever league that, hey guys, if you do well, you are going to get into the national team. And then that is where So they started learning. People even started reading the rules on their own. They won't wait for their coaches to come and teach them. They themselves will go onto the net, watch clips, watch other people play, read a lot of them. So most of them are now abreast with it. Because they know that you don't have to heckle in beach soccer because it's a foul. And if you have a foul in beach soccer, every good shooter, it is a goal and it's a plus. Because it is you and the goalkeeper. There's no defense. There's nothing like a wall that is going to stand like you have in football. We don't have that in beach soccer.
How unfair can that be?
Yeah, it is not unfair, but that is the rules. So you have to play by the rules.
Why would there even be a rule like that? Because the first time I recall seeing there's a particular thing that you just mentioned, and I was asking myself why the opposing players would not come and, line up behind the player being going to take their shot, and I was told it wasn't allowed, and I was like, yes. Why is it not allowed?
One, the game itself is difficult. Two, you have to let the game run in such a way that people will enjoy it. Three, beach soccer is a purely entertainment game. Because if you watch it, you see the Brazilians.
So people have gone professional.
Exactly.
People are making a lot of money.
Exactly. Oman and Co are growing up. Uganda is now challenging Ghana because they are now coming up. So there are a couple of African countries who are learning from what we've been able to do. And in the whole of Africa, we are number one.
We are getting there. We are not there yet.
Yeah.
For these players who have created their excitement and fun over the last couple of weekends, when you do get to play, what is the motivating factor for them? For someone like me, like I said, when I tried it once, I thought it was going to be practically impossible for me to continue, playing the sport. I enjoy watching it though. For these players, I don't know how their training regimes are like when they do make time to go and train, and then when they do go out on match days proper. What keeps them in the sport?
What is keeping them in the sport is that, one, most of them have played association football before, and they've not been able to get far.
I saw Eric Cantona play for the French team a couple of years ago.
Exactly. We have a couple of old players who are playing in beach soccer now. So we motivated them with that factor. That, hey guys, you've played association football for quite a number of years, and you are not making it. It is now time for you to pass through another sport, which is beach soccer, which is the biggest thing coming up in Ghana. Then you can also, go through it. I remember when we started in 2007. Sule Montari tried it, he couldn't. Udate Lamte, Agustina, him.
Because it was difficult.
It was difficult. It was totally different from association football. But then when you psych yourself up, when you train very well in the sun, you will know that it is all about movement. You don't need to dribble a lot. If you watch the Brazilians, they don't dribble a lot. All they have to do is to learn how to shoot accurately into the pole. And then we have a saying in Ghana, one British guy told me that in beach soccer, any bulu can score a goal. Because once you hit it directly, hit a grounder, and when it hits the suns, it changes direction, and it's a goal. So goalkeepers in beach soccer are very good goalkeepers, unlike association football, where the ball can bounce and you can still have a hand on it. This one, when it bounces, it changes direction totally.
For association football, for example, you get, technical people who guide footballers along the line. I'm not sure it's any different from, beach soccer as well, but do we have that level of technical expertise here who are churning out the talents like we want?
Exactly. A couple of months ago, we had a FIFA instructor from Oman who came to train a couple of us, about 20 of us, and we were only 2 player coaches in that game. We had our course and pram. So we have coaches here who are FIFA certified, who have the license to coach beach soccer teams in Ghana here.
And what kind of training programs do you go through? Because I know most of these gentlemen who are involved in the sport are probably not paid that much. So that if you want to come and run courses in Ghana, for example, they would have to be extremely motivated to even come for these training courses in the first place.
Actually, this has been a long-term plan for the Beach Soccer Association since 2007 when we were pushing up to it. So in 2011, we had a chance of getting it into it and then having the FIFA instructor to come here. So they brought a whole lot of equipment for us, beeps, football, cones and other things. And also they brought us the rules of the game. They got a series of training programs, which every participant have it. They got us T-shirts, to be able to train with and do practicals right after the classroom work. And so we've gone far more than we even thought we would be. And at the rate at which we are growing, man, the sky is our limit.
The sky could just be the limit, and I'm sure for you out there watching us, and for those of you out there who might have probably taken to the sport over the last couple of years, you have been enjoying what you've been watching on the screen. I have been enjoying it at any time the Brazilians and the South Americans are in action because they are so passionate about it.
Yes.
Being motivated to go on is one thing. Your passion and that intrinsic motivation in you, because again, I mean, it's going to boil down to some money at the end of the day, and
at the end
I'm not too sure how regularly the money comes in.
Yeah, the money doesn't come in regularly, but then it has to depend on you, the individual, or you, the manager who is managing that team. I can talk for Layoka because I'm from Layoka point of view, and we tell the guys that, hey guys, today there's no money, tomorrow there will be money. In a sense that if you play well, then you can get an investor who will come and say, oh, guys, I like the way you play. I'm going to sponsor you. Or then the guys will say, oh, okay, fine. We send our proposal there. Okay, I've seen you on TV before. You were playing, you have some good players who would like to come on board. And that is how come the money will come. And then you are going to enjoy. Some of us have used our personal money, guys like Sakina, Yamo Crazy, they've been helping Layoka. And other clubs also have been facing the same challenges. But then they also have their area men, which you call the big businessmen in the area, who have been pulling them up to get to the stage that they are now. So it is the motivation for my team is to get into the national team. And that's how come I get the players to play every weekend.
Motivating the players to get into the national team is good, but it gets to a point where just beyond intrinsic motivation might not be good enough. You, like you said, you make a lot of expenses on match days, up to 3,000.
Yes.
You mentioned, I mean, for how long can you continue doing this?
For how long? I know people think it's a risk investing in it.
It's a big risk for me.
Yes, it's a big risk, but Carbanga started. So we are urging every institution.
40,000 to be shared over 10 teams.
10 clubs in about 18 weeks. It's not it's just a small money. But then we thank them because they've been able to give us a stepping stone. That's why we are asking other institutions, other organizations, other companies to come to board. Vortic is also helping us with water every weekend. Gives us a sachet and box water because we need the water on field. Playing in the sun is not a joke. So every break you see the players going for the water, squashing on them, drinking some, because they need that energy to play. So Vortic and Carbang have come. Hey, the rest out there, we are asking that you also get involved so that beach soccer will be our number one in the country.
The rest out there would hopefully come on board. We'll do another round of commercials at this point. We're doing beach soccer live here on Joy Sports and Multi TV. We'll be back after this break. We are back from the break and you're still live here on Joy Sports on Multi TV. This is a sports night. This evening we are focusing on beach soccer. The Ghana national team is on the verge of making it all the way to the World Cup. We do have the PRO or the acting PRO of the Ghana Beach Soccer Association, Ellis Lai-Boni, and our guest as our guest on the show this evening. Elvis, tell me, for those of us who got this news a couple of days ago, I mean, we were excited, we were elated about the prospect of making it to the World Cup. How does all this happen?
It happens when we all, put our shoulders under it to carry it up there, to get it up there. And I'll thank the Ministry of Sports and then the GFA for helping us, because when we came to them, they didn't really hesitate at all, but then help us to move. And then our president, Yaon Pofoankra, who was really working immensely. People say he brought the sports into the country, but then we say, yes, hey, he led the sports into it, and we thank him for that. But then we also say that, once there's a small thing that comes, we have to channel it and push it to get to where it needs to. And that was our focus, that we've been seeing Nigeria play, we've been seeing Cameroon play, Senegal, and we believe that we have the men here to, battle
Who
them.
are even better.
Yeah, we're even better than them, and then we can get up there. So we started, preparing gradually, and lo and behold, this is where God has taken us.
I don't know how the selection is going to be done, but with 10 teams. I'm not sure you're going to be selecting more than 10 players or more for the entire national team. What will be the process of selection like?
Actually, we've started. Selection has been done already, and we are on the non-residential camping. After these weekends matches, we'll go to residential camping for about 10 to 13 days before we went back. The selection process, we had a committee that held or sat down and did a selection. We didn't look at current form. We look at current form of the players now, and then some of us have been there. I know a lot of journalists have been there to see some of the players play last season and the beginning of the season. But then also we look at your stamina, your commitment to the team, the commitment to the play. And then there will be people who that they are playing very good beach soccer, using the rules and everything, but they are not included because of indisciplined actions. So if you are not disciplined, you can't be in the team. Because we want to promote, as and when we are promoting beach soccer, we are also promoting Ghana as a nation. So we have to use discipline in terms of these things.
So in effect, you are saying that someone may be very good on the pitch,
yes,
but issues off the pitch might deny the opportunity of featuring in the colours of the national team.
National team, yeah. Because not outside the team, outside the pitch, but then there are people who are very good players. But then if you keep on insulting referees on the field, there's no way you're going to.
It happens in association football.
Yes, it happens in association football.
We swear at referees. We say all kinds of things to them.
All kinds of things in association football, but we don't want that to happen here. Because in beach soccer, if you are shown a red card, you play with 3 players for 2 minutes. And that 2 minutes, you can concede 10 goals in 2 minutes, which you don't want to get into that stage. So if you are taking a player there, you have to take a player who is committed, a player who is disciplined, a player who will listen to the coach, and a player who will play as a team, but not individual.
Well, that's my look at a bit difficult for me to understand, but rules are rules. Yes. If you want to be a part of any association, you just have to respect the rules, and you're going to be part. We want to go to the World Cup. Yeah. So who are we coming up against?
For now, they've not given us the groupings and how, but then I can confidently say that there are 6 teams who have confirmed their participation, which Ghana is one of them, Nigeria is one of them, Senegal, Morocco, the host, is one of them, Uganda is now one of them, and then we have the Côte d'Ivoire, which is also one of the teams who have confirmed their participation. So
now that we have a fair idea of who we are likely to meet, do you have any idea how the format will take? Is it going to be a group format? Are you going to be doing a knockout format?
Probably. It depends on the number of countries who confirm their participation.
Oh, you mentioned 6 of them.
6 of them now. So they can be put in a group of 3 to play all-rounder, or they can be put in a system where they will play a league system or play all system where you have the best 2 qualifying for the World Cup.
How early are you supposed to know how this is going to be done, so that it would also aid your preparation in a way?
I think we have to submit our final list on Wednesday coming. That's next week. So by next week, Wednesday, we will know our opponent. After submitting a list and everything, then they will tell us, okay, finally, we have XYZ number of countries who have confirmed their participation, and then this is how the groupings is going to go, and you are in Group A or you are in Group B, or we are playing in this system, and then we would have to. So by Thursday, probably a release will go out, and then the whole nation will know that we are playing against this or that.
These countries that you have mentioned, I know quite a lot of funds go into the organization of the sport in their country. So beyond being intrinsically motivated, they are also, extrinsically motivated as well. How would you rate our chances against them? Should we come up against them in any format, whether it's a knockout basis, whether it's a group basis?
I would read our high chances because our players are determined to go to the World Cup. One, for now, the happiness...
Determination might not be enough.
The happiness is that we send a lot of, let me say, sponsorship out there to different companies who are ready to help us. So we are just praying that all the companies, the organizations, the institutions that we've come to, they should help us so that these guys will know that, hey, we have a backing from the whole nation, then we are moving into it. Because GFA is trying to help us, the National Sports Authority is also trying to help us, and then we have the ministry who's also pulling strings there. There are other companies like Carbango still want to come on board as a national team, apart from the league that they are really sponsoring. So we have a couple of people we are praying that they would help us in a couple of days.
Where does that you met the Honourable Minister the last 24, 48 hours and something came up. What exactly came up?
Actually, I would leave that to the executive team.
Oh, you wouldn't want the world to know whether you were given $1 million to go and enjoy in Morocco?
No. We are not going. Actually, we are not going to Morocco to enjoy. We are going to Morocco for a business to qualify to the World Cup. That's our main aim of going to Morocco. Not for a fanfare, not for entertainment, but strictly to qualify to the World Cup.
The reason why I'm asking is that, you know, a lot of times you realize that in a country like Ghana, the corporate world, I mean, with all due respect to them, don't really come on board when it's, it's involving certain sports, and would only choose to, sponsor a particular sport, so that if you're going to be dependent on some of these corporate bodies, chances are that you might end up not doing anything. So that if you are getting a certain level of support from governments, it has to come at a certain time so that it helps with your training programs.
Exactly. GFA is helping us. The ministry is helping us. The National Sports Authority is also helping us. In terms of financial aspect, I can tell you they are bringing XYZ on board. In terms of support and logistics and other things, they are helping us behind the scenes. So,
what exactly are they providing in terms of logistics? I mean, jerseys and footballs and
those are normal.
Those
things
are basics.
Basics that they bear. But apart from that, they are also doing a lot for us. So I won't disclose it now, but by Wednesday, a press release go out, and then you would get to know more about what the ministry is doing, what the sports authority is doing, and what the GFA is also doing to help us.
In a grand scheme of things, the FA, the National Sports Authority, the ministry, and whoever might decide to come on board, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than this. If you're getting support from all these bodies in one way or form.
Yeah, it doesn't get bigger than this because actually we've fought our way through. They've seen that when we had nothing at all, we were doing something. We didn't wait for them to come on board before we do something. But they saw us moving things, trying to organize ourselves, putting our structures in order. And that is why you have these people trying to help us that when we had nothing, we've pushed all the way to where we've gotten to. So now they have to help us to grow up there. Because we have an adage in Ghana who says that the fantasy said your food rapani your piano. So the one who is trying to climb up, they will push him to go up there.
You have a fair idea of the nations that you're going to be playing with, and whatever training program that you have, it's going to be implemented in one way or form. Yeah. Beyond just your training program, what are the chances that you get to know your opponents on a closer level, i.e. even get an opportunity to go to some of these countries to prepare ahead of a major tournament of this magnitude? Yeah,
for this tournament, I'm saying that I'm not giving assurance that we will be able to go into other countries
because it's the first time.
Because it's the first time. But then we have clips of all these countries in terms of their past participation in both the CAF and then the World Cup. We have all those tapes that our technical men will sit down and analyze it and see the kind of system they are playing. We have the 2-on-2 system that we play. We have the 3-on-1 system that we play. And then we have the 1-on-3 system that we play. So it's quite a system depending on the field and the discipline that you have. You look at the strength of your team and you know what to play and what not to play.
Look at the strength of your team and you know what to play and what not to play. Nilai Ebony, the acting PR, is our guest on the show this evening. For a lot of people out there who might be listening to you today and beyond, their excitement, the buzz about the sport, it's catching on. Yes, it's catching on, and people might be interested. People live maybe a bit far from here and all that. I get the impression that most of these clubs are either in Accra or very close to Accra.
Actually, 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 actually,